Welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. Today, as usual, begin with the major in top highlights as well. Closing ceremony of IRS Crimerio training between the Coast Guard and the Marine Security. And on the international scene in Africa, Twitter lays off staff at its only office in Ghana. Those were the major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Somali Prime Minister Mr. Hamza Abdi Bare returned this evening to his country after an official visit of 48 hours. Upon his departure, the Somali Prime Minister Mr. Hamza Abdi Bare was greeted at the international airport of Djibouti by members of the government, including notably the Prime Minister Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Minister of Communications in charge of Posts and Telecommunications Mr. Radwan Abdullahi Bahdan, and the Chief of National Security Mr. Hassan Said Khaire. The main objective of this working stay of the Somali Prime Minister in Djibouti is the mobilization of coordinated support of the countries of the region and the international community in the war that Somalia is waging against terrorism. Thus, at the end of the official visit of 48 hours, the Somali Prime Minister was received by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, at the Palace of the Republic. The audience between the head of state and the Somali Prime Minister served from the outset as a framework for the elaboration of an overview of the relations of exchange and cooperation between the two sister nations, with exceptional links woven by the thread of geographical proximity and the community of culture, values, and language. It then allowed both parties to identify processes, additives of collaboration likely to instill a new dynamic in the exchange that the two nations maintain in almost all areas of development. The economy and trade, telecommunications, the transfer of skills, especially in the port of sector, are among others the key areas around which the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Republic of Somalia maintain a fruitful cooperation. The Ministry of Health, within the support of the World Bank, proceeded this Thursday, November 10, to the distribution of hygienic kits for the newborn. The ceremony of distribution of delivery kits took place in the presence of His Excellency, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Roble, the UNICEF representative in charge of the World Bank project mission. They all welcomed the initiative, which, according to them, targets fragile women who are the most exposed to difficult deliveries. This operation will allow beneficiaries to have all the necessary equipment and delivery materials, which will save them the hassles of delivery costs. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Roble, stressed the importance of prenatal care for pregnant women, but also for the growth and the fetus. In his speech, the Minister of Health highlighted the importance of prenatal care for pregnant women, but for the development and growth of the fetus. Prenatal care is essential because it allows providers to offer pregnant women care, support, and information, including promoting the adaptation of a healthy lifestyle, including a good nutrition, to detect and prevent against diseases. These four prenatal visits will help prepare the mother for her delivery in the best conditions and thus help the medical staff to detect a possible illness upstream, but also to monitor the growth of the fetus during these 9 months of pregnancy. The Naval Training Center of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, located at Camp Dorale, hosted on Thursday, November 10th, a closing ceremony of training that took place for 2 weeks in the same center, and which benefited its staff of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. The training, which brought together Djiboutian Coast Guard personnel from the units of the Transmission Service and the IT Service, focused on the learning the ORIS platform and was provided by experts from the European Union's Cremario project. The IORIS platform was set up by the European Union's Cremario project and is a maritime communication tool designed to link different countries and regions to ensure better information sharing. It is a modern, powerful, and secure tool that links all partners involved in the common desire for maritime safety and security. The ceremony ended with a presentation of certificates to the participants and a traditional family photo to immortalize this event. In a speech delivered during the ceremony, Colonel Wais Omar Boghore, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, stressed the importance of the integration of this platform in the operations of the Djibouti Coast Guard. Access to this platform will strengthen collaboration and information sharing with regional international partners involved in the field of maritime security and safety of the Bab el-Mandab Strait in the Indian Ocean. He stressed that a continuous training of knowledge and skills of staff is a key condition to ensure the success and effectiveness of missions that are assigned to the Djiboutian Coast Guard. The mayor of Djibouti, Saeed Daoud Mohammed, accompanied by a delegation of the Djibouti municipality, went to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for a working visit. The mayor of the city of Djibouti met with the mayor of Riyadh, Prince Ayef bin Abdulaziz, and those in the presence of the ambassador of Djibouti in Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Mr. Dayauddin Saeed Bamakrama, as a part of his visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is in line with the decentralized cooperation between the city of Djibouti and the Saudi capital, Riyadh. The mayor of the city, Mr. Saeed Dawood, has obtained within the municipality of the latter a day of work with Prince Ayaf bin Abdulaziz, mayor of the capital of Riyadh, with the aim of exchanging experiences and ways and means to strengthen relations and decentralized cooperation between the two capitals and the two municipalities. Following his fruitful exchanges between the mayor of Djibouti and the mayor of Riyadh, the development of several areas of decentralized cooperation on, among others, digital transformation, the policy of smart cities, humanization and gathering projects, and community participation between Djibouti and Riyadh have been decided between the two parties, and soon a visit to Djibouti by officials of the mayor's office of Riyadh mentioned. This working visit to the mayor of the city of Djibouti reflects the historic bilateral relations between the two countries and is strengthened by the frontier ties that exist between the two leaders, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic of Djibouti, and King Salman bin Abdulaziz. The senior staff of the Secretary of State in charge of sports received an important batch of sports material and equipment from the Italian Civil and Military Corporation in the large hall of Gulait Stadium. The ceremony was chaired by the Secretary General of the SES, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, in the presence of the Commander of the Italian Military Base, Colonel Gennaro Scotto di Santolo, the Technical Advisor, Mr. Abdi, the Director of Sports, Mr. Abshir Ali Hassan, and the Director of Regions, Mr. Umar Hassan Abdullahi, and various executives of the SES. By receiving the sports materials and complete equipment of volleyball as well as video projector, the Secretary General of SES expressed all the gratitude of the Secretary of State in charge of sports for the support that the Italian Army brings to our department, especially in the field of sports, and also welcomed the friendly Djibouti-Italian cooperation, which continues to consolidate. Under the aegis of the Ministry of Youth and Culture, the antennae of Young Entrepreneurs of Ali Sabih affiliated to the Club of Young Djiboutian Entrepreneurs with the support of the Prefecture on the Regional Authority of Decentralization. This morning, the fourth edition of the Regional Fair of Ali Sabih was launched. On the Espal land adjoining the premises of the Prefecture of the local Square of Independence, the event is part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week that the Djibouti Youth Entrepreneurship Club, in particular its branch Asad Jok, in close cooperation with the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, known by the name CLE, the implementation of this fair and popular in the city of Ali Sabeh. The launching ceremony of this fourth edition of this regional fair, which is once again a golden opportunity for a youth full of talent and creativity, was officially inaugurated by the prefect of the region. Accompanied by the Minister, Mr. Isman Ibrahim Roble, Minister of the region, as well as the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mu'min Asawi, the Chairman of the Regional Council of Ali Sabeh. This fourth fair has excited the people of Ali Sabeh who came. It demonstrated the impressive degree of creativity of their sons and daughters. Visitors from all social categories and ages grouped, tasted and admired all the products presented in the different stands of this commercial exhibition. The Association of Youth of the Water Tower organized yesterday a sober ceremony to launch the project of collection and sorting of household waste for two large and all neighborhoods called Shell and Sheikh Musa. This event, which took place on a space located between these urban areas, brought together the Deputy Prefect Umar Idris Soge, the Director of the Agency of the Ali Sabeh, men and women leaders from these popular areas, as well as members of the regional associative fabric. The Vice President of the Asad Jog Civil Grouping recalled their concern about the cleanliness of the city of Ali Sabeh. He urged the representatives of the two districts to work closely together in order to ensure the disappearance of illegal dump sites. To ensure proper management of waste from households, collection sites will be created. As part of the implementation of the new directives, Customs Officer Officers and soldiers from the security and defense forces have been dealing blows to traffickers in recent years. Thus, the customs officer of Biki 51, reinforced by their colleagues of the road Gendarmerie, intercepted last Tuesday 13 parcels of contraband khat. It is about 13 packages containing each more than 100 kilograms of khat, all hidden in a pickup. In a depth of the warming and drastic measures taken of the immature and outlaw smugglers do not cease to pursue these activities that sometimes at the expense of their lives. According to the standard procedure, the seized goods are completely destroyed by the fire on spot, taking advantage of the opportunity. The head of the Council's Brigade of PK 20 and PK 51 sectors, Mr. Suleiman Hassan, which read a warning to the traffickers and urged the civilian population to de-announce the trafficking of illegal business and the parallel economy in all its forms. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, in less than 2 weeks since Elon Musk took over Twitter, there are already concerns that the company is choosing to ignore key risks in its biggest growth markets. On Friday, November 4th, reports surfaced on a mass layoff of employees at its only African office in Ghana's capital, Accra. Until last week, Twitter staff in the company's Accra office have been working remotely since the announcement that it would open its first African office in Ghana in April 2021. According to reports, only one employee appears to have been retained at the Ghana office after the job cuts that also affected the company's Indian office. Senegal is breathing a little better, but is still not reassured. Despite his injury, Sadio Mane, best African player and second in the Ballon d'Or 2022, is on the list of players selected Friday for the World Cup. Let's watch.
Senegal is breathing a little better but is still not reassured despite his injury. Sadio Mane, best African player and second of Ballon d'Or 2022, is one of the list of players selected Friday by the coach Aliou Cissé for the World Cup 2022. In presenting his list of 26, Cisse went so far as to say he was optimistic about the possibility that the star striker of Bayern Munich and the Lion of Thuringia, who suffered a right injury on Thursday in German Championship, could play. However, the doubt is anything but decided, and the Senegalese supporters who saw the last African champions go far in this World Cup 2022 in Qatar and will continue to tremble. And Bayern Munich coach Julian has made it clear that his club is not prepared to take any risk.
U.S. President Joe Biden is in Egypt on Friday to attend the UN climate talks, building on significant national achievements against global warming. Let's follow.
U.S. President Joe Biden arrived in Egypt on Friday to attend the UN climate talks by significant domestic achievement against global warming, but eager to do more for countries hit by natural disaster. Joe Biden will spend only a few hours at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, 3 days after the U.S. midterm election that have raised questions about what the outcome could mean for U.S. climate policy. Climate action in the U.S., the world's second largest, received a boost this year when Congress passed a landmark spending bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, which provided $369 billion for clean energy and climate initiative. This is a make or break this decade where we have an opportunity to prove ourselves and make progress on climate change, Joe Biden said on Twitter hours before Air Force One flew over the conference venue in the Red Sea resorts.
Well, buddies, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Thank you.